Welcome to Whisky.com. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning, and I'm the master taster of Whisky.com. And today I have the Teeling whiskey, an Irish whiskey, with me here on my cask. Well, the name Teeling is very much known to the whiskey industry in Ireland. And Walter Teeling was the founder of a whiskey distillery in Dublin in 1782. And he's one of the, famous whiskey distillers in Dublin, together with his fellows like John Jameson and others. They produced whiskey in Dublin. And yes, when the big recession in the Irish whiskey industry came in the 1960s, then the Teeling distillery had to close down as well. They went out of business, and then there was silence for 40 years. Then the name Cooley was associated with Teeling. John Teeling bought the Cooley distillery in the 1988 or 89, and this was a distillery in the northern part of the Republic of Ireland, not in Northern Ireland, but very much in the northeast of the Republic of Ireland, close to the border to North Ireland. And there, at the end of a dead road, was an industry plant which converted potatoes into pharmaceutical alcohol. This distillery was then acquired by John Teeling, an ancestor of this Walter Teeling, and he started to produce whiskey there. They had column stills on which they produced grain whiskies, and they fitted 2 pot stills in the adjacent building where they produced single malt whiskey. The famous whiskies from the Cooley distillery are Connemara, which is a single malt, and the Kilbeggan, which is a blended whiskey. There are the Tyrconnell, which is also a single malt whiskey, and several others. There are brands you do not know the name of, and that those brands come from Cooley. They produce an awful lot of whiskey for the mass market, as well as those individual, very good single malts, small batch single malts. Then we heard around 2007 or 8 that John Teeling tried to sell the Cooley distillery. He didn't succeed and then he tried to place the company at the stock exchange. He tried the IPO, but didn't succeed in attracting a lot of money. So he stopped that. 2008, 2009 was the end of the financial crisis. And then in December 2011, Jim Beam bought the distillery, the Cooley distillery in Ireland, for, you can't believe it, $95 million. So John Teeling said, well, that's it, but he said, I have to follow the path of my ancestors and produce my own whiskey from his own stock. I think he might have a few casks left from his time at Cooley, and which weren't sold to Jim Beam but kept away. And then he put them together to this Teeling Spirit of Dublin, 1782. Yes, his Walter Teeling, his great-great-grandfather, whatever, I don't know. This whiskey is unchill filtered, 46% ABV, finished or matured in rum casks. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I do not like rum very much. So most of the rums I do not like. They have a very particular taste in it which I do not like. Some rums, yes, I can cope with, but not all. And I don't know which rum cask he used for maturing this whiskey, so I don't know if this whiskey really suits my needs. I don't know. So, this is it. Now we're going to have a dram of this whiskey. It was introduced in 2013. This is the very first from February 2013, the very first batch. I don't know whether the Teelings will add other expressions to this first bottling, new bottling, with their name on it. Oh, look at it. So you can see the. There are spices. Lots of spices. They are like those like lavender or anise, together with a very slight vanilla aroma. And there is a hint of a rum in the background. Officially, it said it's a sweet one, but I don't feel that way. It's more spicy for me. The sweetness is very much covered behind the spices. Yeah, have a first sip. Very crisp and spicy on the tongue. There's the spiciness which is typically comes from pot still whiskies. And in the background there's a grain whiskey aroma, which is not so intense, which is smoother. And then in the background there's a very, very slight bitterness of the oak, of the rum casks. This oak develops this slight bitterness. In the end, I don't think that this whiskey is so sweet as it's written everywhere. It's more on the spicy side, and this anise aroma. The spices are dominant in the nose. Well, not a bad one, not too expensive. Yes, a very impressive first bottling of the Teelings. Yes, they bottle an awful lot in former times, but the first new bottling from their own private stocks. Yeah. Thank you for watching and stay tuned at Whisky.com. Thank you.